Every man says he wants a motherly woman, the type of girl who's gentle and nursing and supportive. And that makes sense. Why would you not want a woman who'd be constantly supportive and gentle to you? But if that's what he wants, what does she deserve? Well, a good woman deserves a fatherly man, the type of guy who leads, provides, protects, and disciplines himself before leading others. Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter, an aspiring young man, and in today's video I want to talk about how if you want a motherly woman, you first need to become a fatherly man. So, what's the truth about being so motherly? Well, what men really mean when they say they want a motherly woman is that they don't want to control or have this power over someone. It's all about care. The same way your mother as a little boy would say, "Dinner's ready," or "I love you," and just be caring. Something's going on out there. The same way that your mother would just hold you and care for you no matter what, and try to work through problems and care for you. That's exactly what a man wants for a woman. A man wants a woman who will say, "Dinner's ready," and then love you and give you a kiss. That sounds perfect for a man. And you can disagree with me and yell at me, but as a man, would that not be awesome? Right? Would that not be perfect? So, if you're a girl, take notes. That's exactly what a man wants. But on the other end, right, a woman should want something equal. So the same way a girl would look at her father, how the father is very gentle and sweet with her, but also incredibly disciplined and protective and will lead her, right, and will lead her away from harm by being disciplined and by being responsible. A man should be the same way to his partner. A man should be gentle with his partner, the way the girl would like, and should be disciplined and lead her. And that would make for a good relationship, and a good woman would appreciate that. Anywho, a motherly woman will give peace, she'll nurture growth, and she'll build warmth. Now, a man would be attracted to these things because when a man comes home or has all these otherworldly stresses from the weight on his shoulders of being this good man, he wants to come home to a home of peace. He wants to come home where his wife or his partner will bring peace to his life and not stress. And he'll want someone who nurtures growth. If a man really wants to grow and a man really wants to be something big, he'll want someone who will nurture him and care for him through his growth. Additionally, he'll want someone that builds warmth, right? If a man wants to be a father one day, he would want a mom who'd be caring and warm. And yeah, I gotta say, the woman, of course, because I always gotta lead it back to this, the girl I was hanging out with met all these things. She brought me peace, she nurtured my growth and made me grow, and she was warm. You can naturally tell as a man if a woman has a warm soul, just based off of how she interacts with her own family. That's why women are so necessary to have a good... Goodness me. That's why it's so desirable for a woman to have a good relationship with her father, because it shows how she can be warm to a masculine man. Anyways, so she also must embody patience, empathy, and a calm direction, right? So again, you want a calm direction in the sense that she'll lead you towards something that's nice, right? You'll want patience because patience is necessary to take time to overcome challenges or set beautiful goals to see. And she'll want empathy because it's really difficult for people to understand men nowadays, and a lot of women are not empathetic towards men. So a woman with empathy is basically the dream scenario for a guy because she'll always understand his needs, right? The same way a woman would desire, in a fatherly man, the exact reflection. But again, this can only exist if she's paired with a fatherly man. Without a good man, there's no reason for her to be a good woman. A motherly woman can't nurture a boy by pretending to be a man. So you need a father. Pardon me. Okay, so the masculine role is structure, protection, and a loving authority. So a fatherly man leads by example and not dominance. He's not going to yell, he's not going to control, he's going to do. Right? If he thinks the family should get in better shape, he's going to start by getting in better shape. If he thinks the family should eat healthier, he'll start by eating healthier. If he thinks the family shouldn't go down a certain route, he'll lead. Because he's not afraid of the consequences. He's disciplined and he's brave and he's courageous. And not just disciplined, but he's emotionally grounded and consistent. He's always loving, he's always caring, he's always able to provide the love to others, and he's emotionally grounded, which means he knows which emotions to feel at a given moment. When someone's sad, he'll be sad for them. When someone's happy, he'll be happy for them. But he doesn't let those emotions control them. He remains a leader, he remains steadfast, and he remains capable of being disciplined and consistent, which is incredibly important. There's another one. Wow, I guess they're busy today. And this is important because people often think a fatherly man or a masculine man, isn't loving and he's just stoic. But the truth is that a fatherly man or a masculine man is incredibly loving, and he's incredibly empathetic. And without the empathy, how are you supposed to appreciate your woman, right? So he provides direction. He won't control. He'll provide love and not chaos. The same way a woman will provide love and not chaos, and she'll provide direction and not control. It's really similar, actually, the more you think about it. And fatherly doesn't mean cold. It means you're responsible. People like to think fathers are just cold, but no, you're responsible. Because, the same way you'd think, okay, you gotta have to not necessarily punish, but remove things from the lives of people so they can be more appreciative of others. That's responsible. The same way you are given challenges to overcome so that you can be stronger, that's responsible. That's not cold, right? He won't just tell her to rest. He'll make sure she has peace to rest in, which is important. Because a good man, a little boy is going to tell their woman, drink water and have a rest. But a good man is going to pick her up, wrap her up in a blanket, bring her the water, bring her all the treats and stuff she might like, and then say, okay, let's rest together. Let's have peace. That's what makes a good man. And a fatherly man will build a safety that allows her femininity to bloom, right? If men want a feminine woman, you need to be so masculine that you make her more feminine. And I'm proud of the fact that I, as a man, though I was absolutely nowhere near as good as a man I was now, I could make a woman more feminine. I made a good woman more feminine, and that makes me proud. That makes me happy because it shows that I was masculine enough to assert not my dominance, but my safety and my warmth around her to where she became more feminine and she bloomed within her femininity because I could care for her and because I could lead for her, right? And then masculine and feminine traits, they really balance each other if you think about it. They're not competing. You're not competing for who's more masculine or feminine. You're balancing each other. If a woman nurtures emotionally, a man must nurture spiritually and directionally, right? And then both serve love just differently, but it's equal. If you add up all the things that make a man and a woman, they're going to be different, but at the end of the day, they're going to be equal. They're going to balance each other out. And that's what makes it so precious. That's what makes it so beautiful about women, because everything that I lack, they have, and everything that they lack, I have. That's why we desire each other. That's why we want to be with each other. And the modern issue is that men demand nurturing, and then they'll reject accountability, right? Because we have so many men who desire these things, and then they're actually crappy men. And then you have so many women who are delusional to the extent where they themselves are not a good woman, and then they have these high expectations. So because of those things, we really have really poor relationships. But the moment when a good woman finds a good man is ideally, it's the perfect situation because you'll work through all your problems. Real masculinity becomes responsibility at the price or as the price of leadership. So what this means is a real man, like real masculine men, they're going to welcome responsibility into their life as leadership, as the price of leadership. Leadership demands responsibility, and responsibility can include pushing yourself down and punishing yourself or making yourself less happy if it means caring for others. And no one will ever realize that, and that's totally okay. That's the goal. The goal is that you are loving no matter what, because true love demands sacrifice. And it says in the Bible, a man must love the way Christ loved the church. So you got to die for your woman every day. You got to serve for your woman. You got to lead her to faith. You got to lead her to a better life. And if you're not doing that, you're a bad man. If you want her softness, if you want her softness or caring, her compassion, she must feel you're steadfast. She must feel how steady you are, how firm you are. Because if you're a pole that moves around in the waves, you're not a good pole. But if you're a man who stands firm in his beliefs and is strong, then a woman is comfortable to lay with you, comfortable to lay on you, comfortable for you to support her. Which is interesting because a man must lead, but he's also supporting the woman. And a woman must support, but she's leading her man to success. It's interesting. It's beautiful. It's incredible. And additionally, a fatherly man leads with truth and not impulse. Leadership demands emotional resistance and moral vision. So what this means is a man will have emotion. He will be emotional. He will care to his woman. He'll be empathetic to his woman to the point where he knows exactly where she's thinking at and what she's thinking of. And he'll be able to adjust accordingly to be emotionally available, right? He'll hold her and care for her rather than just solving her problems. But this also means he needs to be grounded in truth. He needs to know what she means and what she needs. He needs to not be blinded by his wishes to know how to be accountable for others. And he'll lead her to a success where otherwise wouldn't be available without a good man. And he doesn't just use love to be served. He uses it to serve, right? Too many men nowadays, too many crappy men want to love one another so that way they can receive things. But the truth is that a good man is going to love to serve someone else, even if he doesn't get anything in return. And I believe that's the true ultimate love. The true sacrificial love is to serve, right? That's why you see so many men go to war and die, because in those moments there's good women to protect. When you get good women who understand the price it is to be a man, you as a man would be so much more comfortable for dying for this woman, right? And this is where many men fail, because they crave care, but they reject the correction. They reject improving their own lives and just seek care. And I think as a man, if you yourself become good, then you don't have to worry about receiving care, because you're confident in your abilities to just be a good man. So the fatherly man is consistent. Even when he's tired, even when it's hard, he'll provide. And that's what earns her trust. Because you got to be steadfast and you got to be steady. You got to be constant. And if you're not constant, then how can you be trust? Because her nurture is a reflection of your discipline. And that's important. Anyways, both sides have sacred duties. Balance is harmony. So a motherly woman, she'll love deeply and not foolishly. She's not going to just be all clingy and yay and love you and have this puppy love. She's going to love you deeply, and she's going to trust you. And she'll put her life in your hands the same way you'll die for her. She'll submit to you. It says in the Bible, a man owns a woman's body, and a woman owns a man's body. People like to forget the second part, but it literally says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 3 and 4, how a man does not own his own body, and a wife actually owns a man's body, the same way a man owns his woman's body. And what this means is you got to love each other to the extent where you have so much trust in each other that you put each other's bodies into each other's hands. Think like a woman might dress promiscuously, and a man will say, please don't dress that way. And he's not saying that to be a jerk. He's saying that because he's being fatherly. He doesn't want other men to harm her, so he wants her to dress properly. The same way a woman's going to say the same thing to a man. I want you to dress a certain way or act a certain way, because ultimately, she just wants him to be a better man, because you own each other. It's a relationship where you depend, not necessarily depend, but you reinforce each other, and you're going under each other and supporting each other. And a fatherly man is going to lead firmly, not pridefully. He's not going to lead in his pride. He's going to lead firmly. He's going to make mistakes, and he's going to acknowledge them, and he's going to work through them. And a good woman is going to help him work through them. And they're both going to make mistakes. But because you're good, you're going to work through them. And they're two halves of peace. They're two sides of the same coin at the end of the day. Compassion and structure. And without each other, they're nothing. Because two halves make a whole, and one half is just one half. One half will never be a whole on its own. And one can't exist without the other. Right? Love will collapse without order, and order collapses without love. Right? She can't heal you if you won't guide her. And it's incredibly important, and it takes time, which is the important thing. Men often just do one thing and then they expect results. I was that man at one point. But you need to take time. You need to be careful. You need to be very disciplined and consistent, which is important. I'll say it 1,000 times. You need to be consistent, such that when the time comes, first of all, you'll be grateful, and second of all, you'll be worthy of it because of your consistency. Pardon me, I guess in these past few videos, my nose has been really itchy. I think I'm getting some allergies again. Whatever. Good thing allergies don't make you a crappy man. So if a man wants a motherly woman, she deserves a fatherly man. End of story. That's really it. If you want a motherly woman who will say dinner's ready and give you hugs and kisses, then you need to be the father who's going to go out and chop wood and then carry her up a mountain and then support her and then hold her close when she's crying and sad and buy her all the things she'd like and take her out on adventures and lead. You need to be that man, because love isn't one-way blessing. It's a shared responsibility you have for each other. And man, I just want that responsibility. Man, I can't wait. But I got no choice. So until then, I'm going to be working hard to be a good man, including these videos, which I'm loving and I hope you're learning from. I hope you're seeing me talk about these things and not going, oh, Nolan, what are you on about? And I hope, even with my crappy camera quality, I realize I'm a bit too overexposed. I hope you're able to still realize the value in what I'm saying, because I'm truly passionate about this stuff. I'm not saying it because I'm some guru who doesn't care about you. I'm saying these things because I love them. And so anyways, you got to be the man she feels safe surrendering to. Does your woman feel safe surrendering to you? If not, then you're not a good man. But if she feels safe surrendering to you, then you're probably a good man. Probably. Not because you demand it, but because you've earned it through the discipline, faith, and love. Right? You don't get surrenderance from demanding it, right? Like if your government demanded that you just surrendered, then you probably wouldn't. But if your woman starts to surrender to you because you naturally designed yourself in such a way where you're worthy of surrendering, then that should prove you're a good man. Anyways, point is, if you want a motherly woman, if you want a nurturing and beautiful and caring woman, You need to be strong. You need to be a strong and caring and consistent man. Anyways, my name is Nolan T. Painter, and thank you very much for watching.